This bill seeks to mend the gaps in Florida's child abuse investigation procedures that can fail to consider infants and young children with pre-existing genetic conditions. The goal of this legislation is to protect vulnerable children, give parents a right to a qualified medical opinion for their children, and reunify families who would otherwise be wrongfully separated. The bill ensures that children with pre-existing genetic conditions are not wrongfully separated from their families during child abuse investigations. In cases across the country and in Florida, children with pre-existing genetic conditions such as rickets, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, osteogenesis imperfecta, and vitamin D deficiency often exhibit signs of bodily harm that result from their medical conditions, not physical abuse. Additionally, medications such as magnesium sulfate given during pregnancy and childbirth to stop premature delivery can exacerbate these genetic conditions, and many mothers in these cases have received them. Currently, when there is a report of abuse in the hospital, urgent care, emergency room, or physician's office, a visit is conducted. If visible bodily harm is observed, the child is immediately removed from the parents for their safety. A 24-hour shelter hearing is held, and the temporary protective supervision process begins, lasting up to 21 days until a determination is made. However, genetic and DNA testing, which is critical in identifying pre-existing conditions, can take 3 to 6 months to process. In many cases, multiple siblings must undergo testing, further delaying reunification. The issue is that child protection investigators who may not be familiar with these diseases often make initial determinations of abuse based solely on a physical finding. Injuries such as broken ribs, bowed limbs, and dislocated joints, which are characteristics of certain medical conditions, can be misdiagnosed as signs of physical abuse. A qualified physician or professional is needed to properly assess these injuries and determine whether they are consistent with an underlying medical disorder rather than inflicted harm. Currently, parents do not have enough time to identify or submit a second medical opinion of a qualified physician or medical professional to challenge an abuse determination before a judge. As a result, families remain wrongfully separated from their children for months and sometimes years, waiting for proper medical evaluations. The solution is SB 304, which ensures that vulnerable children are not needlessly removed from their families due to misdiagnosed medical conditions. This good bill strengthens Florida child welfare system by incorporating medical expertise into investigations, preventing unjust separations, and preserving the integrity of the process. That is the bill, Mr. Chair.
Are there amendments?
On the desk, Mr. President.
Please read the first amendment.
Amendment barcode 118860 by Senator Sharief. Delete lines 32 through 36 and insert amendment.
Senator Sharief, you are recognized to present the amendment.
Yes, the amendment clarifies that the department does not need to immediately forward allegations of criminal conduct to the appropriate law enforcement agency if the parent or legal custodian has alleged that the child has a pre-existing diagnosis that's specified in this bill, or is requesting that the child has an additional diagnosis or examination from another physician. This amendment brings the bill in line with the companion bill in the House.
Are there questions of the sponsor? Is there debate? Senator Sharief, you are recognized to close on the amendment.
Thank you. Colleagues, I would like to thank Senators Grahl, Yarborough, and Pasadomo for working with me on this legislation through its committee stops. It has received unanimous support in each of the committees in the Senate, and the companion bill in the House has also passed unanimously in its first 2 committees of reference. The bill has had 67 appearances from families, experts, and policy leaders either speaking or waving in support, and I'd like to thank each of them for helping to advocate for this critical legislation. I also want to thank my Senate co-sponsors, Senators Garcia, Rouson, Gates, Collins, Bernard, Smith, and Davis. Thank you all for supporting this good bill. As I close on this bill today, I ask you to consider this simple truth. A misdiagnosis can destroy a family. This legislation is not about weakening child protection. It's about strengthening it with accuracy, compassion, and medical integrity. I ask you to please vote in favor of this bill. Thank you.